And come to your mat in Shavasana. Lay all the way back. Close your eyes and stretch everything out. Begin the way we normally end. But bring a different type of symbolization into this Shavasana. The translation of the word Shavasana roughly boils down to corpse pose. As humans, we become a corpse when we are at the end of our life. So take this opportunity to symbolize the end of all of the things that were going on before this very moment. Let go of your to-do list, worries about the future, dwelling on your past, and bring your attention to your breath. Inhale through your nose to bring new life in. Exhale to complete the cycle and push all of the things that no longer serve you out and away from your body. Inhale through your nose, continue the cycle. Exhale through your nose. Make these breaths as long and full as possible. Slowing down your mind. Quieting your inner voice. And also bringing awareness to any chatter in your body. You're holding on to tension that no longer serves you. You're finding the need to fidget with your fingers, your toes, any type of little movements that are not necessary if you're meant to mimic a corpse. Let everything go. Just allow yourself to be right here and right now, breathing in this moment, still in this moment. Start to softly wiggle your fingers and your toes to reawaken your body, begin your new life. That new life is what we will work through the next hour of movement and breath. Open and close your hands, roll your wrists, roll your ankles, reintroduce movement. Squeeze your ankles together, reach your arms overhead, stretch from fingertips to toes, full body. Keep it going, stretch it out, separate your fingertips from your toes as much as you can. Exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest, give them a good squeeze. Your hands on top of your shins or at the backs of your thighs. Squeeze them in. Give yourself a big hug. Your first act of self-love in this moment. Keep hold of your right leg and stretch your left leg out long. Interlace your fingers either on top of your shin or at the back of your thigh and squeeze your leg in towards your body a little further. It's a gentle opening of your hips, working our way through to some deeper stuff later on. But take this time to make assessments of your body, what it's feeling, how you're feeling. And stretch your right arm out long to a T. Press your right foot up towards the ceiling and catch onto the back of your thigh with your left hand. Then slowly guide your foot slightly over to the left, but keep your right hip down onto the ground to stretch through your IT band and the outer edge of your thigh. Big breath in. Exhale, press your right hip down a little further and then send your right foot over to the side just a tiny bit more. Inhale, come back up to center. Interlace your fingers at the back of your thigh and use your arms to pull your leg a little closer to your body to stretch through your hamstrings. If you need to slightly bend your knees, take a slight bend of your knees and squeeze the thigh in towards the chest again. Continue to extend through your heel and flex your foot. Big breath in. Exhale, straighten out your legs. Send your foot up towards the ceiling. Inhale, stretch your right arm back out into the T. Exhale, guide your foot over towards the right. You can keep the leg straight or you can bend your knee to take a full twist. Lift your right hip off the ground, but melt your shoulders down onto the mat. You can turn your chin towards your right shoulder to complete the twist in your spine. Big breath in. Feel your body just slightly edge out of the twist. Exhale, twist you in a little deeper. Inhale, slowly roll all the way up. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Give it a squeeze. Exhale, press your foot back up towards the ceiling. Lengthen your leg. Inhale, with the strength of your core and your quads, pull your toes towards the back of your mat. Exhale, slowly lower your heel all the way down towards the ground. Shake it out. Inhale, draw your left knee in towards your body. Interlace your fingers behind your thigh or on top of your shin. Give it a good squeeze in. Use the strength of your hands and your arms. Anchor your right leg down onto the ground. Feel an opening stretch in your front right hip flexor. And you'll feel some action maybe on the inside of your left thigh or through into your hamstring or your outer hip. Squeeze it in just a little bit more. Inhale, stretch your left arm out into a T. Exhale, press your left foot up towards the ceiling. Catch onto the back of your thigh with your right hand. Inhale, keep the leg straight. Anchor your left hip down. Exhale, guide your left foot over towards the right. Still keep your left hip anchored down onto the mat. Shoulders melt down onto the ground as well. Open up the side of your thigh, right into your IT bands. If you've got some sciatica issues, this is a nice strengthener and stretch to help open up that space that tends to get the sciatic nerve a little irritated. One more big breath in. Anchor your left hip down even more. Exhale over towards the right, just a tiny bit more. Good. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, take both hands around the back of your thigh. Bend your knees as much as you like, or just the one knee. And keep the foot flexed. Squeeze your thigh in towards your body to stretch through your hamstrings a little more. You can keep your leg as straight as you like if that gives you a better sensation in your hamstrings, but pay attention to how things feel. It's more about having a sensation, not necessarily the biggest sensation, but at least there's something. And then bring your focus back to your breath. We oftentimes tend to overstretch with that idea of, I know that at some point in my life I used to be able to get my foot all the way over my head or something crazy like that, and that's totally fine. That is where you were then. Where you are right now is what is most important. Breathe into that. Still have that in your mind, that at some point, maybe that's a goal that you would like to achieve, but right now I am honoring what my body feels like today. And maybe tomorrow it'll feel like I can bring that foot back from behind my head again. But focus on what's going on right now, today. Inhale, straighten out your leg, release your grip, send your left arm back out into a T. Guide your foot or bend your knee and guide your knee over towards the right. Lift your right or left hip off the ground for the spinal twist. Melt your shoulders down towards the ground. You can continue the twist by taking a look over towards your left fingertips. Inhale, bring your knee back in towards the center. Give it another squeeze. Exhale, stretch your leg out long if it wasn't already. Press your foot up towards the ceiling. Stretch your arms out to the sides. Inhale, fire up your quads. Use your core to pull your toes towards your face. And exhale, slowly lower your left leg all the way down. Bend your knees, plant your feet down onto the mat, and windshield wiper your knees side to side. And as you twist side to side, you'll notice that when you reach one side, your knees kind of stagger. So once you get to a point where you're feeling comfortable in your spine, roll both knees over towards the right, and your left knee may point towards the bottom of your right foot or behind your right calf. So at least you're having a staggering of your legs. Stay here and feel an opening stretch through your left quad and your left front hamstrings. Rest your right knee down to the ground. If you're needing a little assistance underneath your right knee, you can bring a block underneath, but still let your left knee float off the ground to feel the stretch. If it's too much of a stretch, you are welcome to bring another block in right underneath your left knee. Ground your shoulders down. Pull your spine down. And I said your spine and I mean your ribs. Pull your ribs down. The opposite action that's happening here is you're pulling your left hip away from your right rib, your left ribs. One more big breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Plant your feet down onto the ground. If you use the block on your right side, make sure to use it on the left and bring it over. Roll your knees over towards the left. Make sure they stagger with your left knee pointing or right knee pointed towards your left foot or the back of your left calf. Pull your right ribs away from your right hip to get an opening stretch through your front hip flexor and into your right quad. If you feel like you're not getting much, you can continue to pull your right heel up a little closer towards your glutes and point your right knee down towards the top of your mat a little further. Play around with how you feel and send your ribs down towards the ground. Breathe into your quads. Soften your inner thighs. They may try to fire up. Really allow your quads to open up and feel the stretch. Inhale, bring both knees back up to center. Plant your feet down onto the ground. Heel toe your feet together and take your knees wide for reclined cobbler. Deep inhale through your nose. Send all of that oxygen into the inner thighs. And exhale. Feel your muscles expand and lengthen as the air removes itself from your body. But continue that cycle of inhale, fill up. Exhale, expand and lengthen. Even if it's just within the visuals of your mind, close your eyes and visualize what that looks like with every inhale to fill up into your inner thighs. Exhale, send the air out and lengthen your muscles. It works like a balloon. Balloons that were unused fresh out of the package come in a particular shape. Inhale to inflate the balloon, hold it there for a while. As you let the air out, you've lengthened that balloon, altered its shape. So it's the same concept we're doing with our muscles. Visualize the air inflating into your inner thighs. Exhale, you've now altered the shape of your inner thighs and they feel longer. Lower your knees down towards the ground accordingly. Inhale, use your hands to bring your knees back together. Heel toe your feet apart towards the edges of your mat. Knees stay together. Then press your lower back down into the ground. And stay here for a moment to bring a little relief to your inner thighs before we move on. Inhale through your nose. And exhale through your nose. Inhale, heel toe your feet back in towards each other. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your hands underneath your thighs. Start to rock up and down your spine until you are ready to rock all the way up to a seat. Take some time. I know we've started out the first almost half of this class laying down. So if you need a moment to reorient yourself to an upright position, close your eyes. Rest your hands on top of your knees, soften your shoulders, and come back to your breath before you open your eyes again. Or you can keep your eyes closed throughout the rest of this practice. Lengthen your inhale, match your exhale. Come back to the metronome of your breath. Inhale, sweep both arms up, palms touch at the top. Exhale, bring hands down to heart center. Inhale, stretch your arms back up, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring your hands down to the ground, walk your hands forward and forward fold over your crossed legs. You can take your arms or your hands down as far as you like. You can bring your elbows down, stretch your arms overhead. You can bring a block in under your chest or under your forehead for support. But regardless of where you are in your forward fold, melt your tailbone down towards the ground. Send breath into your inner thighs and your hip creases. Feel them expand. And exhale, pull your navel in, feel the space, change the shape and lengthen, and allows you to fold down a little deeper. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Soften your jaw. Release any tension in your neck. Send all of your attention and your breath to your hips, And the longer we stay, you can adjust accordingly. Lower your block down to a lower height, or stretch your arms further overhead. Find a place where you can rest and relax and stay without feeling the need to abruptly remove yourself from the posture. So if going deeper causes you strain that brings discomfort, come up slightly so that you can feel a little bit more comfortable into the posture. Still get plenty of challenge in the stretch, but not cause strain onto your body and into your mind. That's when the mind starts to have that mental chatter and it starts talking with the body, and they're having this really loud conversation with each other, and it's distracting. Let it go. Inhale, walk your way back up to a comfortable seat. Take a look down at your legs. Notice which one is crossed in front or on top, and switch. Bring your hands back down to your knees. Lengthen your spine. Take a moment to assess what's going on in your body with this change. Notice how your hips feel. Your knees are feeling anything different. Come back to your breath. Inhale, sweep your arms up, palms touch at the top, look up to your thumbs. Exhale, bring your hands all the way down to the ground and take your forward fold again. Start out up high or higher than you think you'd rather go. Take that full body assessment. Notice what's going on within your hips, your inner thighs, your lower back, your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. Have them all having a calm communication with your mind. And your mind letting them know, hey, I think we may be able to go a little deeper. Do you guys feel like doing so? If everyone's in agreement, bring it down a little further. If there's some discourse that doesn't sound very pleasant, stay right where you are and just relax your neck. Bring your chin towards your chest. Look down towards your legs. But again, find that space between challenge and comfort. We don't want to overstretch things and send spasms into our body. No. Somebody's got a really cool exhaust system. But we want to find that space that allows us to grow into. The secret of stretching is patience. There is no quick fix to gaining flexibility. There's patience, but also dedication. So if you are wanting to have a quicker trajectory, stretch every day. But if that's not in your practice, stretch as often as you can. But know that all of this comes with time. And it's all about the quality time that you put in on your mat. Connecting with your breath, connecting with your body, connecting with your mind. Inhale, come all the way back up into your seat. Notice how you feel into your inner thighs. You can take the heels of your hands to give them a rub. No, job well done. Thank you so much for what you've done. Any other places on your legs that are needing some attention, stretch your legs out long. Get into your quads. You can even bend your knees. Get into your hamstrings, right with the knuckles of your hands. Good. Go ahead and come into a tabletop position. Stack your shoulders on top of your wrists, hips on top of your knees. Spread your hands wide and point your index finger towards the top of your mat. So what tends to sometimes happen is we'll point our middle finger towards the top of our mat, and we lose this really interesting turn of our arm, being able to rotate the inside of our elbow out when it's time to go into our knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. We find by turning your index finger to point towards the top of the mat, your middle finger then starts to point towards the corners of your mat, and your thumbs kind of almost make this triangle point right up to the center of your mat. Spread your fingertips wide, press firmly into your finger pads, tuck your toes if it helps to bring some pressure off of your knees. Then flip your right palm up. Point your fingertips down towards your knees and press the back of your wrist into the mat to stretch out through your forearms. If stacking your shoulder over your wrist isn't giving you very much of a stretch, start to press into your left hand and draw your shoulders back and your hips back towards your heels, just slightly. You feel a little more, you may even start to bend your elbow some because it's like, okay, that's a lot. That's okay. Keep the arms straight and then come back into it and just soften a little. Take the intensity back a little bit. Flip your right palm back down. You can open and close your hand and roll the wrist if you need a little reset. Come back to your tabletop and see the difference that you feel in both sides. Are you feeling like you're a little bit more able to hold this position in your right wrist a little more now that it's a little bit more open? You take a compression off the outside or the back of your wrist. Do the same with your left hand. Flip your left palm up. Point the fingertips towards your knees. Straighten out your arms. Stack your shoulder on top of your wrist on your flipped hand side. And if you're ready, you can pull your shoulders back, melt your hips back just a tiny bit. So if you feel the back of your wrist lift up, pull it back down and bring your shoulders forward a little more. Keep firm in your belly to compensate for some of the weight into your hand. Press into your right hand and separate your shoulder blades from each other. Inhale, flip your left palm back down, give the hand an open close or give it a roll around. Then press both hands back down onto the ground. Give your shoulders a little around the world to draw them over towards the right, all the way up, over to the left, all the way back. Big circles. Take one more full revolution around. Then come back to tabletop. Do the same thing. Slide your shoulders over to the left. Roll them all the way up, over to the right, all the way back. Full circle. I like to call these around the world. Sometimes you hear them called barrel rolls. Wherever, I think it might be a regional thing, but whatever you like it, it's getting some action in your wrists and your shoulders, your core, your hips, all of it. Do one more revolution, and then come back into your hands and knees. Inhale, sink your belly button down towards the ground, flare your sit bones up towards the ceiling, look up towards the ceiling for cow pose. Exhale, press into your hands, round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone for cat pose. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Exaggerate the movements. Inhale, sink everything down super low except for your tailbone and your chin. Exhale, reverse your action, send your spine sky high. Inhale, back into cow. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, back to a neutral spine. Exhale, press into your hands, your fingertips, your knuckles, and alleviate pressure off of your wrists. Squeeze your belly. Point your tailbone straight back towards the back wall. Flatten out your lower back. So sometimes the lower back lowers down. We've been through this. Pull it back up. It's almost like if you imagine that how your back feels when you're laying on the ground and I say press your lower back into the mat, press your lower back into the ceiling. Yes. Big breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, stretch your right leg straight back. Toes can stay down onto the ground or lift your toes off the mat and line your heel up with your hips. Big breath in. Flex your foot and roll your pinky toe down to help close your hip. Sometimes the hip tries to roll up and open. Roll it back down to line it up with the left side. Press firmly into your hands. Separate your shoulder blades from each other. Keep holding. Lift a little higher. Feel your hamstrings and your glutes start to activate. And exhale, bend your knee. Squeeze your heel towards your glutes. Inhale, lift and press your foot up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your knee back down in line with your hip. Inhale, press your foot up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your knee down level with the hip. Keep pressing into your hands. Inhale, lift. Then exhale, pull your knee all the way through and in towards your nose. Round your spine. Inhale, bring your right knee back down to the mat for tabletop. Untuck your toes, melt your hips back towards your heels. Stretch your arms overhead for a child's pose. Big breath in. And a full breath out. One more. Inhale. Full exhale. Inhale, come back to your hands and knees. Exhale, stretch your left leg out long. Toes can stay down or lift. If you keep your toes down, I apologize for not saying this before, but if you keep your toes down, just stay here. Stay here and feel strong in this. If you feel like taking the next option up, then you can take the next option up. So just take the progressions where you like, depending on what is given. So if you're wanting to start down with the toes down, stay here. But if you're wanting to keep the leg lifted when I say so, go for it. And then if you're like, you know what, I want to bring my toes back down, you can do that as well. But if that leg lifted is still not giving you enough, bend your knee. And then press your foot up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale. Line your knee up with your hip. Good. Really activate your glutes and your hamstrings to press the foot up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring your knee back down. One more. Inhale, press the foot up. Exhale, draw your knee in towards your chest, round your spine. Inhale, bring your knee back down for a tabletop position. Untuck your toes, melt your hips back towards your heels. Stretch out your glutes to reach your arms overhead. Child's pose. Send your breath into your tailbone. Feel your hips expand with your inhale and your exhale. One more big breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, come back to a tabletop position. And exhale, walk your hands back to your knees. Come up high onto your knees. Have your knees hip width still. Feet as wide as your knees. And lay the tops of your feet down onto the ground or keep them tucked. And again, if you need some extra cushion under your knees, you can always fold the top of your mat back and double up. I'm kind of cheating today. I already have two underneath me. If you'd like help with spacing of your knees, you can bring blocks in between your knees or long ways between your heels to help with spacing, or at least something to engage with. Also, if you're wanting to go for some really active type of action in your thighs, you can bring the block between your thighs long ways and give it a squeeze. Oh yeah. Bring your hands to your lower back. Press the heel of your hand into your lower back, almost like you're wanting to squeeze the heel of your hands together. Draw your elbows towards each other. Press your hips forward. Lift your chest and look up towards the ceiling for camel pose. Continue to press or squeeze the thighs towards each other if you have the block in between your thighs. And if you'd like to go a little further, bring your hips further forward. Chest lifts a little higher and your gaze drops back a little further. Big breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, come back up to your knees. Exhale, melt your hips down towards your heels. You can keep the block underneath your hips if you had one behind your or between your heels. Then stretch your arms overhead, bring your forehead down towards the ground or a block as a buffer for child's pose. Breathe into your lower back. Inhale, feel the space expand. And exhale, sink a little deeper and feel the muscles stretch out. One more big inhale into your lower back. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, come back up to your hands and knees, then come all the way back up to stand on your knees. Second round of camel pose with or without the block between the thighs. Bring your hands to your lower back, find support. Squeeze your elbows towards each other, your shoulder blades towards each other. Send your hips forward towards the top of your mat. Chest lifts up towards the ceiling. Look up to the ceiling. Or continue to bring your hips forward. Chest lifts a little higher. Gaze drops back a little further. If you're feeling like you can reach the heels, reach your hands down towards your heels. Keep your hips forward, chest lifted, and gaze all the way back. Big breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, use your core, pull your chin up towards your chest, come back up to stand on your knees, untuck your toes, melt your hips down towards the ground or your heels, stretch your arms overhead for another moment in child's pose. Set yourself up with any support that you like, block under your forehead, block between your knees or underneath your chest, wherever it gives you the most support. Continue to breathe into your lower back. Inhale to expand. Exhale to stretch. Inhale, bring your hands under your shoulders, press your chest back up, come back to your tabletop position. Remove your block if you had one between your feet, and set up your firm tabletop. Inhale, slide your right knee behind your right wrist, sweep your foot over towards the left side of your mat, and stretch your left leg all the way back into your half pigeon pose. Find balance in your hips. If you would like to bring the block under the hip, you know where to slide it. To bring the support, find your balance. If you've got a bolster or a cushion or a blanket nearby and you'd like to lay on it, you can lay on that to get comfortable. You can use blocks under your chest, under your forehead. Find where you're comfortable and start to lower your chest down towards your mat. If you start to lose the balance in your hips, come back up to your hands or your elbows, if you're depending on how deep you went. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Release the tension in your neck and let your head be heavy. Soften your jaw. And relax your breath. Extend your right knee out towards the right side of your mat, left or right foot towards the left side of your mat. And then fold your torso over your shin. Once your body starts to open up a little more, work your progressions, bring your elbows down or your forehead down and your arms outstretched overhead. Use your breath to start quieting the voices that are coming into your head, telling you, hey, we've been here too long, get out. If you know that that voice is telling you you need to get out for a reason to keep your body safe, then listen to it. If it is just talking to be talking, let it know you're okay. You can stay here, you are strong, and you can hold this without injury coming to you. But as always, honor what's going on in your body. If you notice the voice is letting you know in an alarming manner, listen to that. Always tell the difference. It's almost like that angel and devil thing on your shoulders. Sometimes the little devil is like, yeah, trying to tell you things that you don't necessarily need to do, but you want to do. But the angel's like, nah, you got this. You can do this. Don't listen to that voice. Pick the side that's going to keep you the safest. And not just do the things that feed your what is it, your id, or is it your ego? I can't remember. I think it might be ego. Find softness in your face, into your hips, through to your belly, all over. Inhale, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders, press your chest back up, tuck your back toes, bring your knee in slightly, start to lift your hips and slide your right knee back. Stretch it all the way out. Left hip stacked on top of your left knee. And then start to draw big circles with your bent right knee. Stretch it out any way you like to get some fluid back into your hips, blood into your veins. Then bring your right knee back down for your tabletop. Slide your left knee behind your left wrist. Keep the knee over to the left side of your mat. Sweep your foot over towards the right side. Stretch your right leg all the way back. Top of the foot down and toes pointed towards the back of your mat. Feel balance in your hips before you come down into your fold. Start the conversation up again. Notice the tones of the voice that your body is giving you. Let it know, I got this, I am relaxed, I am okay. Soften your face. Let go of any tension in your neck. Relax your head. Soften your belly. Continue that down through both legs. Inhale, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Press your chest back up. Tuck your left toes. Bring your right toes. Bring your right knee in just slightly. Press into your hands to slide your left leg all the way back. Straighten it out. Introduce a movement. Take some rolls up your knee, draw some big circles, or just work to straighten the leg out, bring it back in. Whatever gives you the most supported ability to get some synovial fluid back in and blood flow in through your veins. Bring your knee back down to the ground. Sweep your feet over to the side and sit your hips all the way down. Stretch your legs out in front. Make sure you have enough space to lay back. Spread your feet apart as wide as your hips. Inhale, reach both arms up, sit bones into the ground, lengthen your spine. Exhale, flex your feet, pull your belly down towards your thighs. Find as much bend in the knees as you like and catch onto your calves, your ankles, or the sides of your feet, and pull your belly and your chest a little closer together. So having this much of a bend in your knees is perfectly fine. We want to focus on getting action into our lower back rather than pulling a lot of energy and strain onto our hamstrings. So bending your knees takes some pressure off of your hamstrings. You still get plenty of stretch into the backs of your legs, but it brings a little bit more attention to what goes on in your lower back. So roll your tailbone to point towards the back of your mat. Draw your chest towards your toes and squeeze your belly and your thighs together. Then round your forehead down. Inhale, slowly rolls you all the way up. Straighten out your legs. Reach your hands towards your toes, but have your arms parallel to your legs. Inhale for length through your spine. Exhale, slowly roll all the way down until you lay down all the way to your back. But take your time. Once you come down to the ground, stretch your arms out wide. Let the insides of your feet flop open. And take your Shavasana. Close your eyes. We end the class the same way we began. This full class was our own little representation of a life cycle. Ending in corpse pose is a signal of the end of your practice, the culmination of the experience that you just had. And take the time to reflect on what you felt, what you experienced, and the lessons that you can learn. And notice the lessons that you can learn even from taking this posture, finding space to be still but present in the moment. Bring your focus to your breath. Send communication to the rest of your body that it's okay to relax, release, and find comfort. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Lengthen your inhale. Lengthen your exhale. You started to feel your essence float away from your body. Follow your breath. Come back in, settle into your physical form. Once you've made it back home, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, open and close your hands. And roll your wrists and your ankles, gradually waking your body back up. Take your time. Reach both arms overhead, squeeze your ankles together, stretch from fingertips to toes, full body. And draw your knees back in towards your chest, giving yourself one more hug for today. But please don't let this be the last time you give yourself some love. Inhale, stretch your right arm overhead and roll over to your right side. Use your arm as a pillow and find stillness here while your knees and your ankles rest towards the ground. This fetal position represents new life, rebirth, a chance to start over fresh. Take this opportunity to think about how you would like to progress through the rest of your day, the rest of this week with this new perspective, this new feeling. Or just let yourself be open for new experiences in your life in the coming hours or coming days. When you're ready, gently press yourself back up into a comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Close your eyes, rest your hands on top of your knees. Come back to your breath. Reaffirm this new path, this new purpose by repeating it back to yourself a few more times. Don't forget to show up for yourself as you move away from this practice and into the rest of your day. Advocate for yourself. Be there for you. The more you're able to stand in your truth and honor your truth and honor yourself, the more you can be a light and a service to anyone else that you meet in your life. We'll close today's class with one breath to bring us all together. Inhale, sweep your arms up, palms touch at the top. Exhale, bring hands to heart center, tuck your chin and gently bow to give honor to each other. Awesome, awesome, awesome.